Hello, and welcome once more to a hushed pilgrimage across the parchment of forgotten days. Tonight, let me carry you far beyond the walls of your room, beyond the ticking of your hours, and settle you in the hush that beats at the very breast of the north. There, the wind threads sagas through the pines, the sea croons its oldest lullabies to the stones, and every heartbeat keeps time only with the breath of the earth. Close your eyes if you can, if not, soften them until the edges blur, and drift with me into dawns that arrive without clamor, only a shy ribbon of light slipping through cedar shutters. Picture a world where the only hurry is the hush of wind combing tall grass, and the only urgency is the crackle of a hearth beckoning you nearer. Tonight, you are no mere listener to history. You are its pulse. You step into the boots of a Viking Shieldmaiden, solid, rooted, carved from the cadence of fjord and forest. Yet this is no saga of clashing steel or bellowing waves. This is the chronicle of a gentler might, waking beside glowing coals, braiding your hair with palms roughened by oars yet tender to touch, pressing bare saws to cool soil, and greeting every birch, every rune-scratched rock, every lengthening shadow as an old friend. Before we cross the threshold together, I would be grateful if you tapped that like, subscribe to Wisdom Life if you haven't already, and, if your heart feels light enough, left a whisper in the comments. Tell me where you sit and what hour the sky keeps for you, so we may braid our separate nows into one shared moment. Now, let us ready ourselves. Dim the lights around you, or simply let your eyelids fall like dusk. Rest your hands, one atop the other on your lap, or lightly over the slow rise of your breath. Inhale, quiet as snowfall, then exhale, longer than the last. Feel your shoulders loosen, your jaw unclench, your thoughts drift like smoke from a longhouse roof. Let the day slip from your fingers. Let tomorrow wait beyond the mountains. Tonight, there is only this, the tender pause between heartbeat. Part 1, Morning in the Wooden Home. The sun is rising now, slow and quiet, like a secret being whispered across the sky. It's not the bright, sharp light of midday. This is softer, golden, barely touching the horizon as if it doesn't want to wake you too quickly. Outside, the world is still wrapped in sleep. The only sounds are the wind brushing gently through the tall grass near your home and the soft cooing of birds somewhere far away. You're lying beneath layers of thick wool blankets and fur, warm and safe, with the scent of wood smoke lingering in the air around you. You open your eyes slowly, not because you have to, but because something feels different today, like the morning itself is waiting for you to notice it. There's no rush here, no clock ticking, no voice calling your name from another room. Just the hush of early light and the steady rhythm of your own breath. You stretch your arms above your head, fingers grazing the wooden frame of your bed, and let out a long, quiet exhale. You feel grounded, present, at peace. Your feet find the cool wooden floor, smooth from years of use, worn soft by footsteps just like yours. The chill bites gently at your toes, reminding you that winter has only just begun to loosen its grip on the land. But there's warmth nearby, you can already feel it, hear it crackling softly in the hearth across the room. That fire has been burning since last night, tended carefully before sleep, and now it welcomes you back into the day with a quiet glow. You pull your woolen robe tighter around your shoulders as you walk toward the fire, the fabric familiar against your skin, comforting in its weight. The room around you is simple, honest, wooden beams overhead, shelves lined with jars of dried herbs, baskets filled with flax and wool waiting to be turned into something useful. This is your space, your sanctuary. Every object here has a story, a purpose, a place. As you reach the hearth, you crouch down beside it, warming your hands over the embers. The heat rises slowly, wrapping around your fingers, grounding you further in the moment. You watch the flames dance, flickering shadows dancing along the walls, and you allow yourself to stay here, in this small, sacred pause between waking and doing. No need to hurry. There's time enough for everything else later. You rise again and cross the room to the window, where the shutters are still closed. With gentle hands, you unlatch them and push them open, letting in the crisp morning air. The scent of pine fills your lungs, mixed with the faint saltiness of the sea carried inland by the breeze. Beyond the window, the village is slowly coming to life, smoke curling from rooftops, chickens scratching at the dirt, the distant sound of someone chopping wood. But none of it feels urgent. Everything moves at its own pace here, in harmony with the land and the seasons. You close your eyes and breathe deeply, feeling the cool air fill your chest, then leave it again in a slow, steady stream. This is your morning, your rhythm, your beginning. And for now, there's nowhere else you need to be. You step away from the window and move toward the large wooden basin near the corner of the room. A bucket of water rests beside it, collected yesterday from the well outside. You dip your hands into it, feeling the cold kiss your skin, waking you up in the gentlest way. You splash your face, letting the droplets run down your cheeks and chin, washing away any last traces of sleep. Then you dry your face with a rough linen cloth, soft from many washings, and take a moment to simply stand there, present in your own body, in your own space. Now, it's time for something warmer than the fire alone can give you. You turn back to the hearth and reach for the small iron pot hanging from a hook above the flames. Inside is milk, warmed overnight, slightly sweet, slightly earthy. You pour a cup and carry it to the wooden bench near the fire. Settling down, you wrap both hands around the cup, letting the warmth seep into your palms, into your bones. You sip slowly, savoring the taste, the silence, the stillness. This is how your day begins, not with noise or chaos, but with quiet, with intention, with care. Around you, the house hums with the soft sounds of life, the occasional pop of the fire, the creak of the wooden floorboards, the rustle of fabric as you shift your position. There's no need to chase the day. It will come to you, in its own time. And as you sit here, drinking your warm milk and listening to the gentle rhythm of the morning, you begin to remember what it means to live slowly, to live fully in each moment. You remember that strength doesn't always look like battle or conquest. Sometimes, it looks like this, sitting by the fire, breathing deeply, knowing exactly who you are and where you belong. So, you stay a little longer. You don't rush. You don't force anything. You simply exist, in this space, in this time, in this peaceful beginning of your day. The fire still burns low beside you, its warmth wrapping around your body like a quiet promise that today will be gentle, that you are safe, that there is no need to rush into anything. The cup in your hands is nearly empty now, but the comfort it brought lingers. You place it carefully on the wooden table beside you, letting the silence settle in once more. You rise slowly from the bench, stretching your arms above your head again, this time with a little more awareness of your body, the way your muscles feel after sleep, the soft ache in your shoulders from yesterday's work, the steady rhythm of your breath filling and leaving your chest. There is no hurry here. No one is waiting for you. No task demands urgency. This morning belongs to you alone. You walk toward the large wooden chest near the bed, where your clothes are neatly folded beneath thick woolen blankets. Opening the lid, you reach inside and pull out a long linen underdress, simple and worn soft from many washings. You slip it over your head, feeling the cool fabric against your skin before settling gently around your body. Next comes a heavier woolen tunic, dyed a deep shade of blue from crushed woad leaves. It fits comfortably, familiar in its weight, sturdy in its weave. You fasten the brooch at your shoulder, the metal cool against your collarbone, and tie the leather belt loosely around your waist. Then, you reach for your boots, sturdy, well-worn, made to withstand both damp earth and cold stone floors. You slide them onto your feet, securing the laces with practiced ease. Each movement feels deliberate, not rushed, each item of clothing a quiet affirmation of who you are. Now fully dressed, you glance around the room one more time, taking in the details that make this space yours. A small clay oil lamp sits on the shelf beside your bed, its flame long since burned out. A bundle of dried lavender hangs from a hook near the door, its scent lingering softly in the air. Your comb rests on the wooden stool by the window, where you left it last night before sleep pulled you under. You walk to the door now, reaching for the iron handle, and pause for just a moment before stepping outside. This is your home, warm, familiar, full of memory. And though you must leave it for a while, you know it will be here when you return, waiting patiently, as it always does. With a slow exhale, you push the door open, and the world greets you. The morning light spills across your face, brighter now than when you first woke, but still gentle, still kind. The wind carries with it the scent of pine and damp earth, mingling with the faint smoke rising from nearby rooftops. You step forward, your boots pressing into the soft ground, and take a slow, deep breath. The day is unfolding around you, and you are part of it. Near the entrance of your home stands a small wooden post where your cloak hangs, lined with sheepskin for extra warmth. You reach for it, slipping it over your shoulders and fastening the clasp at your throat. The added layer settles around you like a second skin, grounding you further in the present moment. You turn your gaze toward the rest of the village, waking slowly in the early light. Smoke curls lazily from chimneys, chickens scratch at the dirt near wooden fences, and somewhere in the distance, a child laughs, bright and carefree, like the morning itself. But instead of heading straight into the heart of the village, you pause for a moment, choosing instead to linger near your home. There is something comforting about staying close to where you begin the day, about allowing yourself to move at your own pace. You walk toward the small garden behind your house, where herbs grow in neat rows, protected by a low wooden fence. Here, the scent of rosemary mingles with thyme and sage, all planted with care, tended daily. You kneel beside the plants, running your fingers lightly over their leaves, feeling their texture, breathing in their fragrance. This is your ritual, to touch the earth, to remember the land beneath your feet, to begin your day with gratitude for what grows and what sustains you. You pluck a few sprigs of mint and tuck them into the pouch at your waist, planning to use them later for tea. Then, you stand once more, brushing the dirt from your hands, and let your eyes follow the line of trees beyond the garden. There, nestled between two tall pines, is the wooden structure where your family stores food for the winter, barrels of salted fish, jars of preserved berries, sacks of dried root vegetables. You walk toward it now, your steps unhurried, knowing that whatever you need is already there, waiting patiently for you. Inside, the air is cool and still, filled with the rich scent of wood and earth. You run your hand along the shelves, tracing the outline of a jar of honey collected last summer, its golden glow catching the dim light filtering through the cracks in the walls. You choose a small loaf of dark bread wrapped in cloth, a piece of smoked salmon, and a handful of dried apples. Arms full, you step back outside, blinking as your eyes adjust once more to the morning light. You carry your breakfast back toward the house, feeling the weight of it in your hands, feeling the rhythm of your life settling into place. Back inside, you set the food down on the wooden table and retrieve a small knife from a drawer. With careful hands, you slice the bread, the blade gliding smoothly through the dense grain. You place the slices on a wooden plate, add the salmon and apple pieces beside them, and pour yourself another cup of warmed milk. You sit again by the fire, this time with food in front of you, and allow yourself to eat slowly, savoring each bite. There is no rush. No distractions. Just the quiet hum of your own presence, the warmth of the fire, the taste of nourishment, the gentle crackle of flames turning logs into embers. As you eat, you listen to the wind outside, to the occasional creak of the wooden beams overhead, to the soft sound of your own breathing. You feel grounded. You feel whole. And as the final bites disappear and the last sip of milk warms your throat, you lean back against the bench and close your eyes for a moment. Not to sleep, just to be. To breathe. To remember that this, too, is a kind of magic, the simple act of beginning your day with care, with intention, with peace. Part 2, Outdoors, Exploring the Land Around You. You remain by the fire for a little longer, savoring the last quiet moments of your morning meal. The warmth still clings to your skin, and the taste of bread and smoked salmon lingers on your tongue. But now, a gentle pull begins to stir inside you, not urgency, never that, but a quiet invitation from the world outside. It's time to step beyond the threshold of your home and into the rhythm of the land. You rise slowly, placing your empty plate and cup aside, knowing there will be time later to wash them. For now, you let go of tasks, of routine, and allow yourself to move with ease. You walk toward the door once more, pausing just before stepping out, as if giving yourself permission to truly feel this moment. The air is crisp as you open the door, carrying with it the scent of damp earth and pine needles after the night's rest. A soft breeze brushes against your face, lifting strands of your hair and reminding you that you are alive, present, and free to explore. The sky above is pale blue now, streaked with wisps of cloud that drift lazily across the horizon. You step outside. Your boots press gently into the cool ground, softened by last night's dew. The village around you is waking up in its own time, smoke curls from rooftops, the sound of an axe splitting wood echoes faintly from somewhere nearby, and the distant call of a rooster reminds you that life here moves steadily, without rush or worry. You take a deep breath, filling your lungs with the clean, morning air. And then another. Each one steadies you, centers you, prepares you for what comes next. Today, you won't stay close to home for long. There is something calling you forward, not a voice, not a task, but a feeling. A quiet curiosity. A need to stretch your legs, to feel the wind against your skin, to reconnect with the land that has always welcomed you. You fasten your cloak more securely around your shoulders, adjusting the clasp at your throat, and begin walking. The path ahead is familiar, worn smooth by many footsteps, lined with wildflowers peeking shyly through the grass. You follow it without thought, letting your feet guide you, trusting the rhythm of your own pace. As you walk, you notice the small wonders around you, a spider's web glistening with dew, catching the light like tiny jewels, a squirrel scurrying up a tree with a nut clutched tightly in its paws, a butterfly fluttering past, its wings painted in soft shades of gold and brown. There is no hurry here. No need to chase anything. You simply walk, and the world walks with you. The trees begin to thicken as you move further from the village, their tall trunks rising like silent guardians of the forest. The air changes slightly, cooler, richer with the scent of moss and bark. Sunlight filters through the branches above, casting shifting patterns on the ground beneath your feet. This is your sanctuary. Not far from the edge of the woods stands a wooden bench carved from a single log, placed there years ago by hands you know well. You make your way toward it and sit down, allowing yourself a moment to simply be. Here, surrounded by trees and birdsong, the weight of the world feels lighter. You lean back, resting your head against the rough surface of the bench, and close your eyes. The wind rustles the leaves overhead, whispering secrets only the forest understands. Somewhere nearby, a bird calls out, not loud, not urgent, but full of life nonetheless. The scent of pine and earth fills your senses, grounding you deeper in this peaceful space. You don't try to hold on to any thoughts. You let them come and go like clouds drifting across the sky. And in this stillness, you remember something important, that strength does not always mean action. Sometimes, it means choosing to pause. Choosing to listen. Choosing to be fully present in a moment that asks nothing of you but your presence. A soft smile touches your lips. You open your eyes again, blinking slowly in the morning light. The world still waits for you, unfolding gently with each passing second. And though you could stay here forever, you know there is more to see, more to feel, more to experience. So you rise from the bench, brushing your hands against your tunic to remove any bits of moss or dust. Then, with a deep breath and a heart full of quiet gratitude, you continue forward. The forest welcomes you deeper now, its silence rich and layered with the subtle sounds of life, the crunch of leaves beneath your boots, the occasional snap of a twig, the distant rustle of something unseen moving through the underbrush. You walk slowly, deliberately, letting your senses awaken. You run your fingers along the rough bark of a birch tree, noticing how the white strips peel away like paper. You bend down to examine a patch of mushrooms growing near the roots of an old oak, their caps round and smooth, their colors muted but beautiful. Every step feels like a conversation, between you and the land, between you and the wind, between you and the quiet heartbeat of the earth itself. And as you walk, you begin to feel something shift within you, not dramatically, not suddenly, but gently, like the tide pulling softly away from the shore. You are beginning to remember who you are. Not just a woman of this village, not just a daughter, a sister, a worker of wool and gatherer of herbs, but someone deeply connected to this place, to this life, to this quiet rhythm of being. And in that remembering, you feel whole. You stop again, standing still in the middle of the path, surrounded by trees, wrapped in the hush of early morning. You close your eyes once more, breathing in deeply, holding the moment inside you like a precious gift. Then, slowly, you open them again. The forest stretches before you, endless and inviting. And though you do not yet know where your steps will lead, you trust that wherever they take you, it will be exactly where you need to be. So you keep walking. One step at a time. One breath at a time. One quiet, sacred moment at a time. As you walk deeper into the forest, the light changes, it softens, filtered through layers of leaves and branches overhead. The world around you feels like it's holding its breath, not in tension, but in quiet anticipation, as if it knows you are here and is welcoming you with open arms. The air carries a coolness that clings gently to your skin, reminding you that though spring is near, winter has not yet fully released its grip. Still, there is a promise in the breeze, a whisper of warmer days ahead, of blossoms waiting to unfurl, of life stirring beneath the soil, unseen but deeply felt. You follow a narrow path winding between tall pines and sturdy oaks, their trunks covered in moss where the morning dew has settled. Each step feels deliberate, grounded, connected. There is no rush. No need to chase the horizon. Here, time stretches and slows, wrapping itself around you like the cloak resting on your shoulders. You reach out and brush your fingers against the rough bark of a nearby tree, feeling the texture beneath your fingertips, solid, steady, ancient. It reminds you of your grandmother's hands, weathered by years, shaped by work, yet full of quiet strength. Just like this land, she was always there, standing firm through every season, offering shelter, wisdom, and warmth. A small bird flutters from one branch to another above you, chirping softly, as if sharing a secret only those who listen closely can understand. You smile at the sound, letting it settle inside you, becoming part of the stillness that surrounds you. There is something about walking through the woods alone, not lonely, never lonely, but alone in the most peaceful way. It gives you space to think, or not think at all. To simply be. And being is enough. You come upon a small clearing where sunlight spills through the trees in golden beams, illuminating the grass below. Here, the earth smells richer, the air lighter. You pause, stepping into the glow, allowing the warmth to touch your face. Closing your eyes, you tilt your head slightly upward, letting the sun kiss your skin. A gentle breeze brushes past, lifting strands of your hair and carrying with it the scent of pine and damp earth. You breathe in slowly, deeply, filling your lungs with the quiet magic of this moment. This is peace. Not the absence of noise, but the presence of stillness. You take a few steps forward, entering the heart of the clearing, where wildflowers begin to bloom along the edges. Tiny bursts of color, white, yellow, violet, peek shyly through the green, delicate yet resilient. You kneel beside them, brushing your fingers lightly over their petals, feeling their softness. You remember learning the names of these flowers when you were young, how each had a purpose, a story, a place in the rhythm of life. Some could be brewed into tea for aching stomachs, others used to soothe wounds or bring calm to restless minds. Your mother taught you well, and now, years later, those lessons remain with you like an old song humming softly in the background. You pluck a few sprigs of yarrow and tuck them into your pouch at your waist, knowing they will be useful later. Then, with a final glance at the flowers, you rise again, brushing the dirt from your knees, and continue forward. The path leads you toward a stream, its gentle murmur growing louder with each step. As you approach, the scent of water fills the air, fresh, clean, alive. You slow your pace instinctively, as if not wanting to disturb the quiet harmony of this place. The stream flows smoothly over smooth stones, its surface catching the light in shimmering ripples. You crouch beside it, dipping your hands into the cool water, feeling the chill run through your fingers before slipping away with the current. You cup your hands and bring some water to your lips, drinking slowly, letting the coolness refresh you from within. Then, you splash a little onto your face, waking yourself up just a bit more, grounding yourself further in this moment. As you sit beside the stream, watching the water move with effortless grace, you feel something shift inside you, a deepening sense of ease, of belonging, of trust. Trust in the rhythm of the land. Trust in the rhythm of your own life. Trust in the knowledge that you do not have to force anything, that everything unfolds in its own time, in its own way. You watch as a leaf floats by, carried gently by the current. It doesn't fight the flow. It simply moves with it. And so do you. You stay here for a while longer, listening to the stream, watching the way the light dances across the water, feeling the weightlessness of this simple, sacred moment. Then, with a deep breath and a heart full of gratitude, you rise once more. The forest welcomes you back as you step away from the stream, continuing your journey without a destination in mind. Just movement. Just breath. Just presence. You pass by a fallen log covered in thick green moss, its surface soft and inviting. Without hesitation, you sit down, resting for a moment, allowing your body to relax, your mind to drift. You lean back against the log, closing your eyes again, and let the sounds of the forest surround you, the rustling leaves, the distant call of birds, the occasional snap of a twig underfoot somewhere unseen. And in this stillness, you feel safe. You feel held. You feel home. Even if you are far from the wooden walls of your house, even if you are surrounded by trees instead of people, you know that you are exactly where you are meant to be. So you stay here for a little longer, breathing in the quiet, breathing out the day's first layer of tension. And when you finally rise again, it is not because you must, but because something inside you gently reminds you there is still more to see. More to feel. More to remember. So you keep walking. One step at a time. One breath at a time. One quiet, sacred moment at a time. Part 3, Midday, returning home and preparing the meal. The forest begins to thin as you walk, its quiet embrace slowly giving way to the familiar rhythm of home. The trees no longer stand so close together, their branches no longer weaving a canopy thick enough to block out the sky. Light spills more freely now, touching your skin in warm patches, reminding you that the sun has climbed higher, that the morning has gently given way to midday. You pause for just a moment, standing still in the soft hush between forest and field, letting the change settle around you like a new layer of warmth. You take a deep breath. The air is different here, lighter, carrying with it the scent of wood smoke, freshly turned earth, and something cooking over fire. Home is near. And though your time in the woods was peaceful, there is a comfort in knowing that soon, you will be back among the people who know you, the walls that hold your memories, the hearth that waits for you with open arms. You begin walking again, your steps slower now, not because you are tired, but because the world around you feels full of small wonders demanding your attention. The wind carries with it the sound of distant laughter, perhaps a child running through the village square, or a pair of women chatting as they hang wool to dry. Chickens scratch at the dirt near wooden fences, pecking quietly without hurry. A dog barks somewhere in the distance, then falls silent again, as if realizing there is nothing truly urgent to announce. You pass by a garden where someone has been working. The soil is freshly dug, the rows neat and carefully tended. A few herbs have already begun to sprout, tiny green shoots reaching toward the sun like quiet prayers. You crouch beside them for a moment, brushing your fingers lightly over the leaves, feeling their texture, breathing in their scent. It reminds you of your own garden behind your home, how you planted these same herbs with care, how you tend to them each day, how they grow slowly, steadily, without rushing to become what they are meant to be. You smile softly to yourself, then rise again and continue forward. As you approach your home, the scent of burning wood grows stronger, mingling with something else, the rich aroma of bread baking, the faint saltiness of fish roasting. Your stomach stirs slightly, not with hunger exactly, but with recognition. This is the smell of nourishment, of comfort, of home. You step onto the wooden path leading to your door, feeling the familiar creak beneath your boots. Everything here feels known, safe, steady. You run your hand along the wooden frame of your house as you pass, tracing the grooves left by years of weather and work, remembering how this place has sheltered you through many seasons. Inside, the air is warm from the fire, and the light filtering through the window casts gentle shadows across the room. Your mother stands near the hearth, stirring something in a large iron pot, her movements slow and practiced. She glances up as you enter, her face lighting with a quiet smile. "You're back," she says, her voice soft but full of warmth. "I am," you reply, stepping further inside, letting the door close gently behind you. She gestures toward the pot. Lunch will be ready soon. You nod, setting down your pouch of herbs on the wooden shelf before moving toward the hearth. The scent is rich and comforting, a stew made from root vegetables, dried mushrooms, and pieces of salted fish, all simmering slowly in water drawn fresh from the well this morning. You breathe it in deeply, allowing yourself to feel the simple joy of returning to something familiar, something grounding. Your mother hands you a wooden spoon and nods toward a bowl resting on the table. Stir this while I finish cutting the onions. You take the spoon without hesitation, kneeling beside the pot and dipping it into the thick mixture. The heat rises gently around your face as you stir in slow, circular motions, watching the ingredients blend together, transform into something nourishing, something whole. There is something deeply satisfying about this, the rhythm of preparing food, the quiet companionship of working alongside someone you love, the knowledge that soon, you will sit together and share in the meal you've both helped to create. You glance at your mother as she works, noticing the way her hands move with ease, how she hums softly under her breath, how the light catches the silver strands in her hair. There is strength in her presence, not loud or forceful, but steady, enduring, like the roots of an old tree. She looks up and catches your gaze, smiling again. "Did you find peace in the woods today?" she asks. You nod, continuing to stir. "I did." She hums thoughtfully, turning back to her task. "Good. That's where it often hides, not in the noise, not in the rush, but in the quiet places." You let her words settle inside you, feeling them fit comfortably, like a piece of something larger. For a while, neither of you speaks. There is no need. The silence between you is full, rich with understanding, with shared memory, with unspoken gratitude for this simple, sacred moment. Eventually, your mother sets the knife aside and wipes her hands on a cloth. "Go wash up," she says gently. "We'll eat soon." You nod and make your way to the wooden basin near the corner of the room, where a bucket of cool water rests beside a stack of linen cloths. You dip your hands into the water, feeling the chill kiss your skin before rinsing away the remnants of your morning walk. Then, you dry them carefully and return to the table. Your mother ladles the stew into 2 bowls, placing one in front of you before settling into the seat across from you. You pick up your wooden spoon, pausing for just a moment to look at the food in front of you, steam rising gently, colors blending together in warm, earthy tones. You take your first bite slowly, savoring the taste, the warmth, the nourishment. And as you eat, surrounded by the quiet hum of your home, the steady presence of your mother, and the lingering peace of the morning, you feel something settle deep within you. Gratitude. For this meal. For this moment. For this life. The last bite of stew disappears from your bowl, leaving behind only the faint scent of herbs and warmth. You set your spoon down gently, feeling full not just in your stomach, but in your spirit, as if something deep within you has been nourished by more than just food. Across from you, your mother sets her spoon aside as well, resting her hands on the wooden table. She looks at you for a moment, eyes soft with quiet understanding. "Thank you," she says simply. You nod, smiling slightly. "Thank you too." There is no rush to leave the table. No need to hurry into the next task. Instead, you both remain seated, letting the silence settle around you like a shared breath. The fire still crackles softly in the hearth, its warmth lingering in the air, wrapping itself around you like an old memory. Outside, the world continues to move at its own pace. Chickens scratch at the dirt, children laugh somewhere in the distance, the wind rustles through the trees near your home. But here, inside this small wooden house, time stretches and slows, offering you space to simply be. Eventually, your mother rises, gathering the empty bowls and carrying them toward the wooden basin in the corner. You follow suit, standing slowly, stretching your arms above your head before joining her beside the water. She hands you a cloth without needing to ask, and you take it willingly. Together, you wash the dishes, rinsing them in the cool water, drying them carefully, placing them back on the shelf where they belong. It is a simple act, this cleaning after a meal, but there is something deeply grounding about it. It reminds you that care does not always have to be grand or dramatic. Sometimes, it is found in the quiet moments, in the rhythm of shared work, in the gentle way your hands move through water, in the knowledge that even small things matter. As you work, you glance out the window near the basin. The sun has climbed higher now, casting long shadows across the ground outside. The morning feels like a distant dream, and yet, its peace still lingers within you. Do you remember how to mend a torn shirt? Your mother asks, her voice calm, steady. You nod. Yes. She smiles slightly, turning toward a wooden chest nearby. Opening the lid, she reaches inside and pulls out a tunic, one of your brother's, worn soft with use, its sleeve frayed along the edge. Would you mind? She asks, handing it to you. Not at all, you say, taking the fabric into your hands. You carry it to the wooden bench near the window, settling down with it across your lap. From a small pouch tucked beside the cushions, you pull out a needle and thread, simple tools, but ones you know well. You begin stitching slowly, fingers moving with practiced ease. Each loop, each careful pull of the thread, becomes a kind of meditation, quiet, rhythmic, deliberate. There is no rush. No pressure. Just the soft sound of thread passing through fabric, the occasional creak of wood beneath you, the steady presence of your mother nearby. As you work, your thoughts drift gently, not toward worries or tasks, but toward memories. Of sitting beside your grandmother years ago, watching her hands move in the same way, teaching you the patience required for such work. Of learning that some things cannot be hurried, that some mending takes time, attention, care. And isn't that true of life itself? That healing, growth, connection, these are not things that happen quickly, but slowly, steadily, with intention. A soft breeze slips through the open window, brushing against your skin, carrying with it the scent of pine and fresh earth. You pause for a moment, closing your eyes, breathing it in. Then, with renewed focus, you return to your stitching. Your mother moves quietly around the room, tidying small things, rearranging items on the shelves, humming softly under her breath. Occasionally, she glances over at you, her expression unreadable but warm, as if she is content just to sit in the quiet rhythm of this afternoon. Time passes slowly here, not measured by hours, but by the movement of light across the floor, by the way the fire burns lower, by the way your hands grow accustomed to the weight of the needle in your fingers. Eventually, the tear in the sleeve is gone, replaced by neat, careful stitches. You run your fingers over the repaired fabric, feeling the smoothness, the strength of it. Done. You stand, walking over to your mother and holding up the tunic. It's finished. She takes it from you, inspecting your work with a small smile. Very good. You feel a quiet sense of satisfaction settle inside you, not because the task was difficult, but because you did it with care. Because you took the time to do something meaningful, however small. She folds the tunic and places it back in the chest, then turns to face you fully. You've done well today, she says, her voice soft but sincere. You smile, lowering your gaze slightly, touched by her words. I feel at peace, you admit. She nods, as if she understands exactly what you mean. That's the best kind of day, she says. Outside, the wind shifts slightly, bringing with it the scent of wood smoke and the distant sound of laughter. The village continues to live in its own rhythm, but here, in this quiet space, everything feels balanced. You glance toward the window again, noticing how the light has changed, softer now, beginning its slow descent toward evening. And though the day is far from over, you feel no urgency to chase it. Instead, you allow yourself to stay here, in this moment, in this peaceful rhythm of life. One stitch at a time. One breath at a time. One quiet, sacred moment at a time. Part 4, Afternoon, Work and Learning. The light outside has shifted once more, not as bright as midday, not yet golden with the approach of evening, but somewhere in between, casting long shadows across the wooden floor inside your home. The warmth still lingers in the air, though a gentle breeze slips through the open window now and then, reminding you that the world is slowly turning toward cooler hours. You sit by the hearth for a moment longer, letting the peace of the meal settle within you like soft moss against stone. Your mother moves about the room with quiet purpose, folding cloths, adjusting the fire slightly, humming under her breath a tune you've heard since childhood, one that carries memory without words. There is no rush here. No need to chase the next task or fill the silence with noise. Instead, there is only this, the hush of afternoon, the steady rhythm of shared presence, the gentle pull of something new waiting just beyond the threshold of your home. Eventually, your mother turns to you, her hands resting lightly on the edge of the wooden table. Would you like to help me gather herbs before the sun begins to fall? She asks. You nod, feeling the invitation settle comfortably in your chest. Yes. She smiles, already reaching for a small woven basket resting on a nearby shelf. She hands it to you, then steps toward the door, pausing only briefly to adjust the clasp on her cloak before stepping outside. You follow, the cool air brushing against your skin as you leave the warmth of the house behind. The village stretches before you in its quiet rhythm, smoke curls lazily from rooftops, children's laughter drifts from somewhere unseen, and the scent of pine mingles with the earthy aroma of damp soil after last night's rain. You walk side by side with your mother along the well-worn path leading toward the forest's edge. The sun above is still high enough to cast a warm glow over everything, but its light feels gentler now, less direct, as if it too is beginning to slow its pace. You carry the basket in one hand, fingers curled loosely around its handle, feeling its familiar weight. It is not heavy, but it holds promise, a vessel for what you will find, for what you will bring back, for what will nourish both body and spirit. As you reach the edge of the woods, the air shifts slightly cooler, richer with the scent of leaves and bark. You step into the shade of the trees, their branches overhead forming a quiet canopy that muffles the sounds of the village behind you. Your mother walks ahead with practiced ease, her steps sure, her presence steady. You follow closely, watching how she pauses occasionally to examine a plant, to brush her fingers gently over its leaves, to take in its scent before deciding whether to harvest it. You watch her carefully, always learning, even when no words are spoken. She stops beside a patch of wild thyme growing near the base of an old oak tree. Kneeling, she reaches out and runs her fingers lightly over the tiny green leaves before plucking a few sprigs and placing them in her own basket. You can do the same, she says softly, glancing at you. Gently, always gently. You kneel beside her, mimicking her movements. The thyme releases a faint, earthy fragrance as you touch it, and you smile slightly at the familiar scent. You gather a handful of sprigs, careful not to take too much, always leaving enough for the plant to grow again. As you work, your thoughts drift quietly, not toward worry, not toward urgency, but toward gratitude. For this moment. For the knowledge being passed down. For the simple act of gathering something useful, something healing, something that connects you to the land beneath your feet. You continue forward together, moving deeper into the forest's embrace. Here, time slows even further, stretching and softening until it feels almost dreamlike. Birds call out in distant conversation, leaves rustle with the passing breeze, and the occasional snap of a twig underfoot reminds you that life is always moving, even in the quietest places. After a while, your mother leads you toward a shaded clearing where sunlight filters through the branches in soft beams. Here, a cluster of yarrow grows tall and proud, its white flowers swaying gently in the breeze. She kneels again, and you do the same, watching as she carefully cuts the stems with a small knife before placing them neatly in her basket. This helps with wounds, she explains, her voice low and calm. And with calming the mind. You nod, absorbing the lesson like water soaking into thirsty ground. You begin cutting too, following her example, making sure each motion is deliberate, respectful. As you work, you feel the rhythm of it, the way your hands move in sync with hers, the way the silence between you feels full rather than empty. When you finish, you rise together, brushing any stray bits of dirt from your knees. The basket in your hands feels a little heavier now, filled with small gifts from the earth, each one carrying its own quiet purpose. Your mother looks at you, eyes warm. You're getting better at this, she says. You smile, feeling the warmth of her words settle inside you. Thank you, you reply. She nods, then turns back toward the path leading home. Let's go back now. There's more we can do before the light fades completely. You follow her without hesitation, walking side by side beneath the trees, the forest welcoming you back with every step. And as you walk, you feel something shift within you, not dramatically, not suddenly, but gently, like the tide pulling softly away from the shore. You are learning. Not just about plants and remedies, but about patience, about presence, about the quiet strength found in knowing how to care for yourself and others. And in that learning, you feel whole. The path home feels familiar beneath your feet, yet it carries with it a quiet sense of discovery, as if every step holds something new to notice, something small to appreciate. The sun has begun its slow descent, casting long shadows across the ground, painting everything in soft golden light. The air is cooler now, carrying with it the scent of pine needles warmed by the day's sun and the faint earthiness of damp soil after last night's rain. You walk beside your mother, the woven basket resting comfortably in your hands, filled with the herbs you gathered together. Each sprig, each leaf, each flower feels like a quiet promise that what you have collected will serve a purpose, will bring comfort, will nourish both body and spirit. As you reach the edge of the forest, where the trees begin to thin and the village comes into view once more, you pause for just a moment, taking in the sight before you. Smoke curls lazily from rooftops, chickens scratch at the dirt near wooden fences, and somewhere nearby, a child laughs, bright and carefree, like the wind itself. You take a deep breath, letting the peace of this afternoon settle within you like warm sunlight slipping through a window. Then, with steady steps, you continue forward. Back inside your home, the warmth of the fire greets you like an old friend. The scent of wood smoke still lingers in the air, mingling with the faint aroma of bread baking earlier in the day. You set the basket down on the wooden table, running your fingers lightly over the leaves and flowers you've gathered, feeling their texture, breathing in their fragrance. Your mother moves toward a shelf lined with jars and small wooden bowls, reaching for one that looks familiar, worn smooth by years of use, its lid slightly chipped but still sturdy. She sets it on the table beside your basket and turns to face you. "We'll prepare these now," she says gently. You nod, already reaching for the bundle of thyme. Together, you begin the careful process of separating the leaves from the stems, pinching them off slowly, placing them in a shallow bowl, watching as they pile up in soft green layers. The scent grows stronger as you work, filling the space between you with something grounding, something familiar. There is no rush here. No need to hurry. Just the quiet rhythm of your hands moving through the task, the occasional creak of wood beneath your feet, the steady presence of your mother beside you. She hums softly under her breath, a tune older than memory, one that seems to carry with it the wisdom of many seasons. You find yourself humming along without realizing it, your voice blending quietly with hers. For a while, neither of you speaks. There is no need. The silence between you is full, rich with understanding, with shared history, with unspoken gratitude for this simple, sacred moment. Eventually, the time is ready, and you move on to the yarrow, carefully laying out the white flowers on a clean cloth spread across the table. They look delicate, almost fragile, but you know better. You know that even the smallest things can hold great strength, that healing often comes in quiet forms. You brush your fingers lightly over one of the petals, feeling its softness, thinking of all the ways this plant has been used, for wounds, for fevers, for calming restless minds. It reminds you that knowledge is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes, it is found in the quiet passing of skills from one generation to another. Your mother watches you for a moment, then speaks softly. "Would you like to learn how to make a tea from this?" You nod, feeling a quiet excitement settle within you. "Yes." She smiles slightly, already reaching for a small clay pot resting on the shelf. She places it on the table between you and begins explaining the process, how to dry the flowers, how much to use, how long to steep them in hot water. Her words are calm, steady, filled with the kind of patience that only comes from years of practice. You listen carefully, absorbing each detail, committing it to memory not just as information, but as something personal, something that will stay with you, something you will one day pass on. Together, you prepare a small batch, placing the dried yarrow in a cloth pouch, tying it loosely, then submerging it in a pot of warm water drawn fresh from the bucket near the hearth. The scent rises gently, earthy and soothing, wrapping around you like a quiet lullaby. You sit beside your mother as you wait, watching the steam curl upward, listening to the soft crackle of the fire, feeling the weightlessness of this moment. And in this stillness, you remember something important, that learning does not always mean rushing forward. Sometimes, it means pausing. Listening. Being fully present in a moment that asks nothing of you but your attention. A gentle smile touches your lips. Eventually, your mother lifts the pouch from the water, squeezing it gently before setting it aside. She pours a small amount of the tea into 2 wooden cups, handing one to you. You take it carefully, holding it in both hands, feeling the warmth seep into your palms. Then, you lift it to your lips and take a slow sip. The taste is mild, slightly bitter, but comforting, like the hush between moments, like the quiet strength of knowing you are exactly where you need to be. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the warmth settle inside you. Then, with a deep breath and a heart full of gratitude, you open them again. Outside, the wind shifts slightly, bringing with it the distant sound of laughter, the faint rustle of leaves. The world continues to move at its own pace, but here, in this quiet space, everything feels balanced. You glance at your mother, seeing the same quiet peace reflected in her eyes. Thank you, you say softly. She nods, sipping her tea. You're welcome. And as you sit together, surrounded by the warmth of the fire, the scent of herbs lingering in the air, and the quiet hum of life unfolding gently around you, you feel something deepen within you. Gratitude. For this lesson. For this time. For this life. So you stay here for a little longer, breathing in the quiet, breathing out the day's next layer of tension. Then, when the time feels right, you rise again. One step at a time. One breath at a time. One quiet, sacred moment at a time. Part 5, Dusk, Gathering by the Fire. The light outside has changed again, no longer golden and warm, but soft and deepening into something quieter, more reflective. The sun is sinking slowly behind the trees, casting long shadows across the wooden floor inside your home. The air carries a coolness that wasn't there before, a gentle reminder that the day is turning toward evening, toward stillness, toward rest. You sit near the hearth for a moment longer, letting the warmth of the fire wrap around you like a familiar embrace. The scent of wood smoke lingers in the air, mingling with the faint herbal fragrance of the tea you and your mother prepared earlier. Outside, the world begins to hush, birds return to their nests, the last voices of the village fade into the wind, and even the chickens seem to settle into quiet murmurs as they scratch at the dirt one final time before nightfall. There is a peace in this hour, not loud or dramatic, but deep and steady, like the breath of the earth itself slowing down after a long day. Your mother rises from her seat beside you, stretching slightly before moving toward the shelves along the wall. She reaches for a bundle of dried lavender tied neatly with string, then turns back to face you. "Would you like to help me prepare something for tonight?" she asks gently. You nod, feeling the invitation settle warmly in your chest. Yes. She smiles slightly and walks toward the small wooden table near the fire, where a shallow clay bowl already rests. You follow, carrying your empty cup and placing it aside before joining her. From the bundle of lavender, she carefully plucks the tiny purple flowers, placing them gently into the bowl. You do the same, running your fingers over the delicate petals, feeling their softness, breathing in their scent, calm, sweet, grounding. "This helps with sleep," she says softly. "And with easing the mind after a long day." You hum thoughtfully, continuing to work in silence. There is something deeply satisfying about this, the rhythm of preparing something soothing, the quiet companionship of working alongside someone you love, the knowledge that soon, others will benefit from what you are creating. As you work, the fire crackles softly beside you, sending up occasional sparks that dance briefly before disappearing into the air. The sound is steady, almost hypnotic, like a heartbeat reminding you that everything moves at its own pace, the sun, the wind, the breath in your lungs. Eventually, the lavender is ready, and your mother reaches for a small cloth pouch resting nearby. Together, you fill it with the dried flowers, tying the top securely before setting it aside. "There," she says quietly. "That should be enough for tonight." You glance at the pouch for a moment, imagining how it might be used later, tucked beneath a pillow, placed near the fire to release its scent, offered to someone who needs a little extra comfort before sleep. It feels good to create something meant to bring peace. Outside, the sky continues to darken, stars beginning to appear one by one, like quiet whispers appearing in the vast darkness above. A soft breeze slips through the open window, carrying with it the scent of pine and the distant sound of waves rolling gently against the shore. You take a deep breath, letting the cool air fill your lungs. Then, with a slow exhale, you rise from your seat. "I think I'll step outside for a moment," you say softly. Your mother nods, smiling slightly. Take your time. You walk toward the door, pausing only briefly to adjust the clasp on your cloak before stepping outside. The world greets you in hushed tones. The village is quieter now, most people gathered inside their homes, voices softened by the approach of night. The sky stretches wide above you, painted in deep shades of blue and violet, scattered with tiny points of silver light. You walk slowly toward the edge of your yard, where the land slopes gently downward toward the sea. The path is familiar beneath your feet, worn smooth by many evenings spent walking just like this, barefoot, unhurried, full of quiet gratitude. As you reach the highest point of the slope, you stop and look out. The ocean lies before you, dark and endless, reflecting the first hints of moonlight shimmering across its surface. Waves roll gently onto the shore, their rhythm steady, ancient, calming. The scent of salt fills the air, mixing with the faint wood smoke drifting from nearby rooftops. You close your eyes for a moment, listening to the sound of the water, feeling the cool breeze brush against your skin. This is peace. Not the absence of noise, but the presence of stillness. You stand here for a while, letting the world settle around you, letting your thoughts drift like clouds across the sky. Not chasing them, not holding onto them, simply allowing them to pass, like leaves carried by the current of a stream. Then, slowly, you begin to walk again, following the curve of the land as it leads you toward the village square. Here, the heart of the community gathers for the evening, families seated around a central fire, children playing quietly under the watchful eyes of their parents, elders sharing stories in low, steady voices. The flames flicker gently, casting shifting patterns of light and shadow across the faces around you. A few people greet you with quiet nods, warm smiles. You return them without words, knowing that sometimes a simple acknowledgement is enough. You find a place to sit near the edge of the gathering, settling onto the cool grass with your knees drawn slightly inward, your hands resting loosely on your lap. Around you, conversation flows gently, not loud, not urgent, but full of life nonetheless. An old man sits near the fire, his voice calm and steady as he speaks. He tells a story passed down through generations, of gods and heroes, of storms and stars, of lessons learned through hardship and patience. His words are not rushed, not forced, they move like the tide, rising and falling in a rhythm that feels both ancient and comforting. You listen without trying too hard to remember every detail. Instead, you let the story wash over you, letting it settle inside you like the warmth of the fire. Someone passes around a small wooden cup filled with warm milk, spiced lightly with honey and cinnamon. You accept it gratefully, cradling it between your hands, letting the heat seep into your palms before taking a slow sip. The taste is rich, soothing, familiar. Around you, laughter rises occasionally, soft, warm, shared between friends and family. Children curl up beside their parents, yawning, eyes growing heavy. Dogs lie curled nearby, their breathing slow and steady. Everything feels grounded here. Safe. Still. And as you sit among the quiet hum of life unfolding gently around you, you feel something shift within you, not dramatically, not suddenly, but gently, like the tide pulling softly away from the shore. You are beginning to remember something important. That connection does not always mean speaking loudly or standing out. Sometimes, it means simply being present. Simply listening. Simply existing in a space where you are seen, where you are known, where you are welcome. A soft smile touches your lips. And as the fire burns lower, as the stars shine brighter, as the world slows its pace around you, you allow yourself to stay here, in this moment, and this rhythm, in this peaceful gathering of hearts and stories. One breath at a time. One quiet, sacred moment at a time. The fire burns lower now, its glow softer, more intimate, casting long shadows that dance gently across the faces of those gathered. The flames no longer crackle with energy, but instead flicker in a slow, steady rhythm, like breath, like heartbeat, like the hush between words in an old story told before sleep. Around you, the village feels wrapped in quiet, not silence, exactly, but a deep kind of stillness, where voices have softened and movements have slowed. A few children curl up beside their parents, eyes heavy, bodies relaxing into the warmth of woolen blankets and familiar arms. Dogs lie nearby, resting their heads on outstretched paws, breathing in time with the night. You sip from your wooden cup again, letting the warm milk slide down your throat, carrying with it a gentle comfort. The spice lingers on your tongue, cinnamon and honey, simple but grounding, like the rhythm of this evening itself. The old man near the fire continues his story, his voice calm and steady, each word placed with care. He speaks now of Freya, goddess of love, of war, of magic, and how she walks among mortals not always as a warrior, but sometimes as a woman who understands both strength and softness. His words settle inside you like embers falling onto dry leaves, not harsh, not startling, but deeply felt. You listen without needing to chase meaning. You simply let the story be, let it wash over you, let it remind you that there is power in patience, and knowing when to speak and when to stay quiet, and understanding that being gentle does not mean being weak. Across from you, someone begins to hum, low and quiet, almost imperceptible at first. It's a tune you recognize, though you can't place where you've heard it before. Slowly, another voice joins, then another, until a soft melody drifts through the air like smoke rising from the fire. It isn't meant to be loud or perfect. It's meant to be shared. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the sound surround you, feeling it settle in your chest. There is something deeply soothing about this, about being part of something larger than yourself without having to do anything except exist here, now, in this space. When you open your eyes again, you notice movement near the edge of the gathering, a woman walking slowly with a bundle in her arms. She carries a small child, swaddled in thick wool, its face tucked against her shoulder, already half asleep. As she passes, she meets your gaze for just a moment and smiles, not broadly, not loudly, but with quiet gratitude. You smile back. And in that simple exchange, you feel something shift within you, not dramatically, not suddenly, but gently, like the tide pulling softly away from the shore. You are beginning to understand what it means to belong. Not in a grand way, not with declarations or ceremonies, but in the small moments, and shared stories, and songs sung under stars, and knowing that even when you don't speak, you are seen. Even when you sit quietly, you are part of something. A breeze slips through the trees nearby, rustling the leaves with a whisper too soft to fully understand. The scent of pine and salt fills the air, mingling with the warmth of the fire and the faint sweetness of honey lingering on your lips. You take a slow breath, filling your lungs with all of it, the night, the stillness, the peace. Then, you exhale, letting go of anything that no longer needs to be held. Around you, people begin to move more slowly, stretching, shifting positions, some rising to return home for the night. The fire has burned down to glowing embers now, its job nearly done for the evening. But the warmth it gave remains, settling into bones and memories alike. Your mother appears beside you, standing quietly for a moment before speaking. "Would you like to head back?" she asks, her voice soft, unhurried. You nod, placing your empty cup aside before rising to your feet. Your body feels heavier now, not tired exactly, but grounded, full of the day's quiet rhythms. Together, you walk away from the gathering, leaving behind the fire, the voices, the gentle hum of life unfolding around you. The path home is familiar beneath your feet, worn smooth by many evenings spent walking just like this, barefoot, unhurried, full of quiet gratitude. As you approach your house, the wooden beams stand tall against the dark sky, welcoming you back with the same quiet strength they always have. Smoke curls lazily from the chimney, a sign that the fire inside still waits for you, ready to offer one last layer of warmth before sleep takes hold. Inside, the air is warm and rich with the scent of wood and herbs. The hearth glows softly, casting a golden light across the room. Your mother moves toward the shelves, reaching for the lavender pouch you helped prepare earlier. She opens it carefully, releasing a subtle fragrance that settles gently into the space. She places it near the fire, allowing the heat to carry its scent through the room, calming, sweet, grounding. You sit near the hearth once more, lowering yourself onto the woven mat with a slow exhale. The fire still crackles softly beside you, sending up occasional sparks that rise briefly before disappearing into the air. Outside, the wind shifts slightly, bringing with it the distant sound of waves rolling gently against the shore. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the peace of this hour settle deeper into your bones. Then, with a deep breath and a heart full of gratitude, you open them again. The day is ending now, not with fanfare or urgency, but with quiet grace. And though tomorrow will come, it does not ask anything of you tonight. So you allow yourself to stay here, in this moment, in this rhythm, in this peaceful embrace of firelight and stillness. Part 6, Nightfall, returning home and preparing for sleep. The fire still burns low beside you, its glow soft and steady like the hush between breaths. Outside, the night has settled fully over the village, quiet now, wrapped in darkness and the gentle rhythm of wind moving through trees. The stars above shine brighter without the distraction of daylight, scattered across the sky like quiet whispers from ancestors long gone but never truly forgotten. Inside your home, everything feels grounded, familiar, held. The scent of lavender lingers in the air, carried gently by the warmth of the hearth, weaving itself into the space like a lullaby sung just before sleep. You sit on the woven mat near the fire, letting the heat rise slowly around you, feeling it settle deep into your bones. Your mother moves quietly around the room, folding cloths, adjusting the fire slightly, humming under her breath a tune older than memory. She doesn't rush, doesn't speak unless necessary. There is no need to fill this hour with noise. The silence between you is full enough, rich with understanding, with shared history, with unspoken gratitude for this day that has unfolded gently around you. You glance toward the window, where the wooden shutters remain open just enough to let in the faint light of the moon. It spills across the floor in silver streaks, painting quiet patterns along the wooden beams. The world outside feels distant now, not far, but softer, like a dream lingering at the edge of waking. A soft breeze slips through the crack in the shutters, carrying with it the scent of pine and salt, the distant sound of waves rolling against the shore. You breathe it in slowly, deeply, allowing yourself to feel the weightlessness of this moment. There is no hurry here. No need to chase sleep or force stillness. Instead, there is only this, the quiet hum of evening settling into place, the steady rhythm of your own breath, the gentle pull of tiredness beginning to wrap itself around you like a warm woolen blanket. Your mother turns toward you now, her voice calm and steady when she speaks. Would you like to prepare for bed? You nod, feeling the invitation settle warmly in your chest. Yes. She smiles slightly, already moving toward the wooden chest near your sleeping area. Opening the lid, she reaches inside and pulls out a thick woolen blanket, its edges worn soft with use. She places it carefully on the sleeping mat, smoothing it with gentle hands. You rise slowly from your seat, stretching your arms above your head, feeling the quiet ache of a day well spent. Your body feels heavier now, not with fatigue exactly, but with the kind of tiredness that comes from doing things with care, gathering herbs, stitching torn cloth, listening to stories, walking beneath stars. You move toward the sleeping area, stepping lightly over the cool wooden floor. The fire's warmth still clings to your skin, offering one last layer of comfort before the night takes hold. Your mother reaches for a small clay oil lamp resting nearby, lighting the wick with practiced ease. A soft golden glow spreads through the space, casting gentle shadows along the walls. It is not bright, not harsh, just enough to guide your way without disturbing the peace of the evening. You begin undressing slowly, removing your outer layers with deliberate care. Each piece of clothing feels like a reminder of the day, the scent of pine still clinging to your cloak, the faint traces of smoke caught in the fibers of your tunic, the warmth of movement still lingering in the folds of fabric. You slip into a simple linen underdress, its fabric soft against your skin, worn smooth by many washings. Then, you reach for the woolen blanket, pulling it over your shoulders like a second skin. The weight of it settles comfortably around you, grounding you further in this moment. You glance toward your mother, who watches you with quiet understanding. "Would you like some tea before sleep?" she asks gently. You nod, already feeling the pull of rest settling deeper into your limbs. "Yes, thank you." She moves toward the hearth, reaching for a small iron pot hanging from a hook above the flames. Inside, the water is still warm, infused with the subtle scent of chamomile and mint. She pours a cup and carries it back to you, handing it carefully into your waiting hands. You take a slow sip, letting the warmth spread through your chest, soothing the last remnants of tension in your body. The taste is mild, slightly sweet, comforting, like the hush between moments, like the quiet strength of knowing you are exactly where you need to be. You sit beside your mother as you drink, watching the fire burn lower, listening to the soft crackle of embers turning into ash. Outside, the wind shifts slightly, bringing with it the distant sound of leaves rustling in the trees. And in this stillness, you remember something important, that preparation for sleep is not just about lying down and closing your eyes. It is about slowing down, letting go, allowing yourself to exist in the quiet spaces between thoughts, between breaths, between days. A soft smile touches your lips. Eventually, the cup is empty, and your mother takes it gently from your hands, placing it aside. She rests a hand briefly on your shoulder, not heavy, not urgent, but grounding all the same. "Time to rest," she says softly. You nod, already feeling the pull of sleep beginning to wrap itself around you like the woolen blanket draped over your shoulders. You lie down slowly, settling onto the sleeping mat with a quiet exhale. The wool beneath you is thick and warm, offering a sense of comfort that feels almost protective. You pull the blanket up to your chin, letting its weight anchor you in place. Your mother moves nearby, adjusting the fire slightly, then returns to sit beside you for a moment. She runs her fingers lightly through your hair, brushing it away from your face, the touch gentle, familiar. Outside, the wind carries with it the faintest hint of rain, though none has fallen yet. The scent of damp earth begins to rise, mingling with the warmth of the fire and the lingering fragrance of lavender. You close your eyes for a moment, breathing in slowly, deeply. Then, with a final exhale, you open them again. Your mother looks at you, eyes soft with quiet affection. "Sleep well," she murmurs. You smile slightly, already feeling the weight of your eyelids growing heavier. You are not falling asleep exactly, not yet. You are simply sinking deeper into the stillness, into the hush between moments, into the space where dreams begin to stir. Outside, the first drops of rain begin to fall, light, barely audible, tapping gently against the wooden roof above you. The scent of wet earth rises stronger now, wrapping around you like a quiet promise that tomorrow will come, but not tonight. Tonight belongs to rest, to stillness, to peace. And as you lie here, surrounded by the warmth of the fire, the scent of herbs lingering in the air, and the quiet hum of life unfolding gently around you, you feel something deepen within you. Part 7, Drifting into Sleep. The rain continues to fall outside, light, steady, like a lullaby sung just for you. Each drop taps gently against the wooden roof above, blending with the quiet hum of night, creating a rhythm that feels both distant and close, like the hush between breaths. Inside your home, the fire has burned down to soft embers now, casting only the faintest glow across the room. The warmth still lingers in the air, wrapping around you like an old memory, familiar, comforting, grounding. The scent of lavender and dried herbs rises gently from beneath your pillow, mingling with the lingering fragrance of wood smoke, filling your space with something deeply soothing. You lie beneath the thick woolen blanket, wrapped in its weight like a second skin. It holds you gently, not tightly, but firmly enough to remind you that you are safe, that you are warm, that you are exactly where you need to be. There is no rush here. No need to chase sleep or force stillness. Instead, there is only this, the quiet hum of evening settling deeper into place, the steady rhythm of your own breath, the gentle pull of tiredness beginning to cradle you like a child held close to a mother's chest. Your body feels heavier now, not with fatigue exactly, but with the kind of tiredness that comes from doing things with care, walking through the forest at dawn, gathering herbs beneath the trees, stitching torn cloth by the firelight, listening to stories beneath stars. Each movement from the day lingers in your muscles like a quiet echo, reminding you that you have lived fully, even in small ways. Outside, the wind shifts slightly, bringing with it the distant sound of waves rolling gently against the shore. It is not loud, not urgent, just enough to remind you that the world is still moving, even as you begin to let go of the day. You take a deep breath, filling your lungs slowly, deeply. Then, you exhale, long, slow, releasing whatever tension still lingers in your body. And as you do, you feel something shift within you, not dramatically, not suddenly, but gently, like the tide pulling softly away from the shore. You are beginning to remember what it means to rest. Not as an absence of doing, but as a presence of being. Not as something earned, but as something given freely, like the night itself. Your mother lies nearby, her breathing steady, rhythmic, deep. You can hear the quiet rise and fall of it, like the tide moving in and out, like the fire crackling beside you one last time before falling silent. She does not speak, does not move much, just exists in this space with you, offering her presence without needing to say anything at all. And somehow, that is enough. It reminds you that connection does not always mean words. Sometimes, it means simply lying near someone who knows you, who has seen you grow, who has watched you change with each passing season. A soft breeze slips through the open window again, carrying with it the faintest hint of damp earth and pine needles warmed by the day's sun. You breathe it in slowly, deeply, allowing yourself to feel the weightlessness of this moment. Then, you exhale again, slower this time, softer, like letting go of something you didn't realize you were holding. Around you, the house feels quiet now, not empty, not lonely, but full in a different way. Full of memories. Full of warmth. Full of the quiet magic found in knowing that even when the world sleeps, you are never truly alone. You close your eyes for a moment, feeling the coolness of the linen pillow beneath your cheek, the warmth of the blanket tucked around your shoulders, the gentle pressure of your hand resting lightly against your stomach. And in this stillness, you begin to notice how your thoughts drift differently now, not chasing each other in circles, not clinging tightly to the events of the day, but simply passing through like clouds across the sky. Some you recognize, the warmth of tea shared with your mother, the soft laughter of children near the fire, the scent of pine carried by the evening breeze. Others you do not, fleeting images, sensations without names, memories that feel both familiar and far away. But none of them demand your attention. None of them pull you away from this moment. Instead, they pass gently, like leaves carried by the current of a stream. And as they go, you feel your body grow heavier, your mind softer, your breath slower. You are not falling asleep exactly, not yet. You are simply sinking deeper into the stillness, into the hush between moments, into the space where dreams begin to stir. The fire beside you flickers once more, sending up a final spark before settling into silence. The rain continues to fall, light, steady, soothing. And as you lie here, surrounded by the warmth of the night, the scent of herbs lingering in the air, and the quiet hum of life unfolding gently around you, you feel something deepen within you. Gratitude. For this night. For this rest. For this life. So you allow yourself to stay here for a little longer, breathing in the quiet, breathing out the last layer of the day. Then, when the time feels right, you let go. One breath at a time. One quiet, sacred moment at a time. The rain continues to fall, soft and steady, like a whisper from the sky meant only for you. Each drop lands gently on the wooden roof above, tapping in a rhythm that feels both distant and close, like the hush between heartbeats. It does not ask anything of you, it simply is. And in its presence, you feel something settle deep within your chest, a quiet knowing, a gentle surrender to the stillness unfolding around you. Inside your home, the fire has burned down to nothing now, no embers, no glow, just the lingering warmth held in the air like a memory that refuses to fade too quickly. The scent of lavender still rises gently from beneath your pillow, mingling with the faint traces of wood smoke and dried herbs, filling your space with something deeply soothing. You lie beneath the thick woolen blanket, wrapped in its weight like a second skin. It holds you gently, not tightly, but firmly enough to remind you that you are safe, that you are warm, that you are exactly where you need to be. There is no rush here. No need to chase sleep or force stillness. Instead, there is only this, the quiet hum of evening settling deeper into place, the steady rhythm of your own breath, the gentle pull of tiredness beginning to cradle you like a child held close to a mother's chest. Your body feels even heavier now, sinking deeper into the mat beneath you. Your limbs loosen, your fingers uncurl, your jaw relaxes. There is no tension left to hold on to, just the slow, steady release of the day's final moments. Outside, the wind shifts slightly, bringing with it the distant call of an owl somewhere unseen. It echoes through the trees, blending with the sound of rain, wrapping itself around you like a lullaby sung just before sleep. You take a deep breath, filling your lungs slowly, deeply. Then, you exhale, long, slow, releasing whatever trace of the day still lingers in your mind. And as you do, you feel something shift within you, not dramatically, not suddenly, but gently, like the tide pulling softly away from the shore. You are beginning to remember what it means to rest. Not as an absence of doing, but as a presence of being. Not as something earned, but as something given freely, like the night itself. Your mother lies nearby, her breathing steady, rhythmic, deep. You can hear the quiet rise and fall of it, like the tide moving in and out, like the fire crackling beside you one last time before falling silent. She does not speak, does not move much, just exists in this space with you, offering her presence without needing to say anything at all. And somehow, that is enough. It reminds you that connection does not always mean words. Sometimes, it means simply lying near someone who knows you, who has seen you grow, who has watched you change with each passing season. A soft breeze slips through the open window again, carrying with it the faintest hint of damp earth and pine needles warmed by the day's sun. You breathe it in slowly, deeply, allowing yourself to feel the weightlessness of this moment. Then, you exhale again, slower this time, softer, like letting go of something you didn't realize you were holding. Around you, the house feels quiet now, not empty, not lonely, but full in a different way. Full of memories. Full of warmth. Full of the quiet magic found in knowing that even when the world sleeps, you are never truly alone. You close your eyes for a moment, feeling the coolness of the linen pillow beneath your cheek, the warmth of the blanket tucked around your shoulders, the gentle pressure of your hand resting lightly against your stomach. And in this stillness, you begin to notice how your thoughts drift differently now, not chasing each other in circles, not clinging tightly to the events of the day, but simply passing through like clouds across the sky. Some you recognize, the warmth of tea shared with your mother, the soft laughter of children near the fire, the scent of pine carried by the evening breeze. Others you do not, fleeting images, sensations without names, memories that feel both familiar and far away. But none of them demand your attention. None of them pull you away from this moment. Instead, they pass gently, like leaves carried by the current of a stream. And as they go, you feel your body grow heavier, your mind hon, your breath slower. You are not falling asleep exactly, not yet. You are simply sinking deeper into the stillness, into the hush between moments, into the space where dreams begin to stir. The fire beside you flickers once more, sending up a final spark before settling into silence. The rain continues to fall, light, steady, soothing. And as you lie here, surrounded by the warmth of the night, the scent of herbs lingering in the air, and the quiet hum of life unfolding gently around you, you feel something deepen within you. Gratitude. For this night. For this rest. For this life. So you allow yourself to stay here for a little longer, breathing in the quiet, breathing out the last layer of the day. Then, when the time feels right, you let go. One breath at a time. One quiet, sacred moment at a time. The world outside fades gently into the background, the sound of rain becomes softer, the scent of pine blends into the hush of the night, the warmth of the blanket wraps around you like a promise whispered in the dark. You don't chase sleep. You don't force it. You simply allow it to come to you, like mist settling over the land, like leaves drifting gently to the ground. Your eyelids grow heavier. Your thoughts slow. Your breath deepens. And as you sink further into the stillness, you feel something unfold inside you, a quiet peace, a gentle surrender, a sense of belonging to this moment, to this night, to this life. You are not fighting anything. You are not reaching for anything. You are simply here. Now. And that is enough. The rain taps gently against the roof one last time before fading into silence. The wind carries its final whisper through the trees. And as the night settles fully around you, you feel yourself slipping deeper, beyond thought, beyond time, beyond the edges of waking. You are not gone. You are simply resting. Resting in the hush between moments. Resting in the rhythm of your own breath. Resting in the quiet, sacred space of sleep. So, dear friend, as the stars shine quietly above and the earth breathes gently beneath you, let the night hold you. Let the stillness carry you. Let the dream begin. Sleep well. You've done beautifully tonight. Good night.